Far Lone Sails is a criminally overlooked, narrative-driven indie game that explores themes of isolation, frailty, and loneliness. The game is so overlooked, in fact, that I felt it was necessary to express my feelings for it. Before I do recommend Far Lone Sails, it is $15 on Steam and you'll finish it in around 2 to 4 hours. If you measure the value of an experience using cost per hour as a reliable indicator, you probably don't have what it takes to appreciate this game, so it's best if you lose interest now. Since that's out of the way, I highly recommend Far Lone Sails. It's an immersive experience with absolutely no dialogue or hand-holding, as well as beautiful visual and sound design. I suggest you play it when you have the chance to relax and immerse yourself in something pretty and thought-provoking. All you see now is generic-looking gameplay, and that's intentional. It's a short game, so come back once you've finished it if you want to hear my thoughts on it. Okay, spoilers now, shoo! I really love games that throw you into a world and leave you alone. It is similar to Limbo in that regard, the big difference being a lack of unforgiving challenge, as I haven't died once throughout, and so the game suffers due to streamlining. However, what the game loses in challenge, it wins twice as much in atmosphere and quality of narrative. The complete lack of hand-holding complements this greatly. Speaking of your vehicle, although I did enjoy going from this to this, it feels cheap that what the dad and uncle of our protagonist invented pretty much upgrades itself while you do almost nothing. Upgrading does not have enough challenge to feel rewarding. The ready-to-go upgrades seem too convenient, and one mechanism for upgrading just looks straight up unfinished. I'm not saying I want to screw and weld stuff onto your vehicle every time, as if work is what an audience wants from a video game, but some forms of puzzle for putting stuff together might have been a nice and rewarding contrast to movement that is prominent throughout the game. On the same day I finished both this game and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and comparing them helped me realize just how much I hated playing the latter. To me, Far Lone Sails is a competent video game that has gameplay mechanics. The difference between this game and that boring PowerPoint presentation is that you are not a spectator to the narrative. You are at the core of the story as a silent protagonist, and with the help of the gameplay mechanics, you seamlessly form a bond with the game world after just the first few minutes. Obviously, this isn't revolutionary, so let's not waste time. While Far Lone Sails does not overstay its welcome with short playtime, it ends far too soon and leaves you wanting more, and honestly not in a feel-good way. Literally minutes before the game ends, your car breaks in half and you end up driving a giant wind-powered unicycle! This obviously turns into a moment of wonder, but then the game just abruptly ends, just as it shows some new untapped potential. To me, this is the main recurring issue with the game. Going back to the context of your vehicle and industrial themes, in the art book, it is explained that the civilization which used to live in the now dried-up seabed failed to adapt to relentless, creeping change, rather than sudden disaster. So while this game at first seems like a cautionary tale of fatal industrialization, it is more about discovering how the survivors adapted to quickly fading water reserves and extreme weather, rather than just being your average cliché nature fights backplot. This resulted in the inhabitants building forward as the shoreline moved, and inventing various contraptions in hopes of adapting to the changing and dangerous environment. While some of the creations were brilliant, others have failed spectacularly, and it seems that their latest decision was to live on ships instead of land as hinted by the ending. While it isn't clear how much more dangerous the environment became due to the industry and the pollution that comes with it, in the end it seems that nature forced civilization to change, and not the other way around, with industry being the only way to ensure survival. With that in mind, your car gets an unsatisfying ending that does not resonate with the game's beauty, optimism, and sentimentality. According to the art book, and a bit of guesswork, the protagonist and her dad prepared the vehicle for a trip to the new coastline shortly before he passed away. There's a little cabin inside with a bed and crayon drawings everywhere. It is the sole reason you've survived so far and a final gift from your late father. The game fails to tie up this part of the story, instead using the broken vehicle as a moment of desperation to set up the ending and nothing more. It ends up left to the mercy of the elements, just as the other vehicles that travel to the new coastline for the same purpose. Although the engine being put out along with your hopes of survival is pretty powerful, so I don't consider the ending an objectively bad one. However, it feels incomplete and not as wholesome as the rest of the game. I really love this game, so I don't want to talk about its detriments any further. At the core, you are meant to experience feelings of frailty and loneliness as you traverse the abandoned and dry seabed, exploring a civilization's attempts at survival, and that is explored wholesomely. The sequence where you first turn on the radio, to me, is a work of art. It's the most rewarding button I've ever pushed in a video game, and that is all thanks to the beautifully crafted atmosphere of Far Lone Sails. Anyway, that's all I had on my mind. I'd like to sign off with my second most favorite moment in the game. Thanks for watching.